Breakfast television. We've now reached 7 o'clock. Top of the clock means it is time for us to take a look at this morning's top news headlines. And it was a difficult day for students at one Edmonton school as they returned to classes following the winter break. A critical response team was on hand at Bishop Greschuk Catholic School Monday. 8-year-old Elvis Lamb was a student at the school. He was one of 8 victims of last week's mass murder. A memorial wall was set up at the school with notes from students remembering Elvis. Meanwhile, counselors, police, and even a therapy dog have been brought in to help those hit hardest by Lamb's loss.
And the children are spending the morning on preparing memories and are going to be sharing that. We want to be sure that our children feel that they're safe, that they're loved, and they're cared for.
Funerals for the other victims in this incident are set to take place today. Parents of the man accused of attacking a 6-year-old girl on a reserve east of Edmonton say they had to leave their homes over threats of violence. The young girl was found beaten and unconscious on the Paul First Nation December 21st. Mounties charged 21-year-old James Clifford Paul with attempted murder, aggravated sexual assault, and kidnapping. Well, in a statement, his parents, Ramona and James Strong, say they have relocated to Edmonton and may never be able to go home. They say they are victims as well and that they didn't do anything wrong. They add that they are shocked and mortified by the attack and that they continue to pray for the girl's recovery. The girl has since reawakened and remains at the Stollery. Well, passengers are recovering this morning after a Greyhound bus drove off a highway near Jasper. Mounties say the bus with 36 people aboard ended up in a ditch shortly before 6 a.m. yesterday while en route from Prince George, BC to our city. The driver and 20 passengers suffered mostly minor injuries. Those who weren't hurt were taken to the town's fire hall to keep warm until another bus was able to pick them up. Well, you can't judge the Milner Library by its cover. The venerable downtown institution is at the heart of a system that was named the world's best last year. However, the 50-year-old facility is starting to show its age, prompting City Council to approve some pretty big changes. Megan Shaw took a tour to see just what's in store.
The Stanley Milner Library is getting a much-needed upgrade to fit the city's alive and thriving downtown core. Thanks to $62.5 million in approved funding from Council, $10 million of which will come from fundraising efforts, a design team is drafting its new look.
When we look at EPL here in downtown, we were really looking at having a very dynamic space. We were looking at also this building, what happens with environmentally is you have a really poor envelope, so you're having, it's very cold and drafty, it costs a lot more for energy, and we're also trying to bring in a lot more light, and again, sort of having sort of a way more dynamic space, so you have a building and a space that befits the tenants, really.
Since the Milner was built in 1967, there are accessibility and asbestos issues. It also needs a facelift, which will include opening the public portion of the library using a winding staircase from top to bottom. Books will be relocated to the second floor, leaving a common area on the main level.
Make it more inviting, more fluid, so the floors sort of speak to each other, more access to the lower level where there's a beautiful theater and people just don't know about it, more visibility and access to the LRT. A children's area that actually connects to Molson Plaza in the back, so there's an exterior space that can be used for programs.
Part of that fluid feel includes entrances on both the south and north side of the building. Glass windows and steel on the outside will make it a modern showpiece over Churchill Square.
The outside, really, what we're looking at trying to do is the exterior is sort of an expression of the buildings that are around the square, so there's definitely some notes of City Hall in there and the art gallery. But it's definitely its own building.
This Edmonton Public Library doesn't want to be remembered for just books, but also for the resources they provide, like early literacy, its makerspace, 3D printing, and technology training.
It's really a sign of a democratic community that they have a public library that's open to all, no matter what your economic background, what your cultural background, your beliefs, everyone is welcome. And I think that's the beauty of having a public space, a true public space that's welcome. People can read, they can learn, they can collaborate. It's really a fantastic service.
The goal is to have the blueprints done in 12 months. The library should be completely revamped by 2018 with no closures throughout construction. For City News, I'm Megan Shaw.
Well, us Edmontonians are a hardy bunch, but this winter This cold snap in particular really testing our resolve. Freezing temperatures on top of wind chill, creating some dangerous conditions. Edmontonians being advised to dress warm with layers and make sure that you have the right winter attire. Still, with the wind chill of -30, it should be tough for many to go outside, but that isn't deterring everyone from their daily routines.
Been a little lazy over the Christmas between all the eating and stuff like that, so decided to go back at it running, and today is the one day I want to go back running. Of course, it has to be cold, so.
I pretend it's +28 instead of -28. Thank God the sun's out today.
Dress up warm and in layers. Keep yourself warm, keep yourself moving, don't stop.
And just a side note with respect to this cold weather, we're hearing from Air Canada this morning, and they say that the cold is causing delays in flights to and from Calgary and Edmonton. 7:06.